You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button.
Today, CBS, they announced their college SEC on CBS windows. Obviously, the one thing everybody always goes to look for are the doubleheaders. And remember, you have the morning, afternoon doubleheader, and then, of course, the day-night doubleheader. The morning, afternoon doubleheader is October the 14th. The day-night doubleheader is November the 4th. That is the week of LSU-Alabama, and LSU-Alabama will absolutely be your primetime game. That's really all you needed to see. You go down the list of games. That's week 10 of the college football season. LSU-Alabama is the elephant in the room for the primetime slot. They're going to put A&M and Ole Miss in primetime? No, they're not. Georgia-Missouri? Yeah, that's not going to happen either. Florida-Arkansas? Probably not. It's really inconsequential, the game they pick to proceed. LSU-Alabama going to be your primetime game. Last couple of years, you haven't been in that spot. I think it's been great. Obviously, 2019, you were the afternoon game on CBS that week. Last year, it was a primetime game on ESPN. That's not going to happen anymore. And, y'all, it should be a great matchup. I mean, there are plenty of people saying LSU should be the favorite in the SEC West going into this season. That game is going to carry a lot. And it's very fitting that this being the last season of the SEC on CBS, it's very fitting that LSU-Alabama is that last primetime game, just because it dominated that slot for so long during the Miles versus Saban era. And to have it back there now in the final year of SEC on CBS, that is poetic when, if everything goes according to plan, it should be for the SEC West like it is the majority of the years. So that's going to be what happens. You can read the writing on the wall there. Again, you look at the other games on the schedule, and none of them scream prime time because that's by design. I mean, that is the week. That is the game of the week every year in the SEC when it comes to the first weekend of November, and it should be again. Now, the other interesting part is where else might LSU land on CBS? That's something intriguing, right? Because, look, LSU, many expect them to be very, very good this year. When you're that good, you're going to play CBS a lot. They want to get you on the network. You can think back to 2019. LSU played on CBS a lot that year. Georgia last year. Georgia played on CBS a lot last year. But like LSU-Alabama, there are staples every year, every week normally, where okay, CBS is going to pick up that game. So you can kind of figure it out. You can really look at it and kind of say, okay, obviously it's not going to be that week because these teams play. But it could be here. You got to pick here. You got a little pick them. Which one do they decide? You wait and see. We know week 3, that's the first CBS game. That will be South Carolina at Georgia. They have announced that. So South Carolina, Georgia is your first SEC on CBS game. After that, you look at week 4, probably not going to be LSU. Week 4, Tigers are facing Arkansas. I mean, sure, maybe, but you also have Alabama, Ole Miss. And Alabama, Ole Miss has kind of become one of those games where you just pencil it in a little bit for the CBS. And I would imagine if I have to look, week 4, September the 23rd, they're probably going to go Alabama, Ole Miss in that spot. Week 5 is interesting, though. Week 5 is an interesting spot. You have Georgia, Auburn, which makes the most sense. And if I had to guess, I'd say obviously they're going to go deep South's oldest rivalry. Georgia should still be ranked number 1. It'll be their second time having them. It's the rivalry game that you will see on there from time to time. But if there is one game that can supplant that, it might be LSU Ole Miss. That'd be 2 weekends in a row. They have the Rebels. But it could be LSU Ole Miss That doesn't. That's something to at least keep an eye on early in the season. Again, I would expect it to be Georgia, Auburn, but LSU, Ole Miss, it really would not. It would not surprise me. You look at week 6. That's October the 7th. I mean, that's going to be Alabama, Texas A&M. That's another one that kind of gets penciled in more often than not these last few years when it comes to CBS. Week 7. That's October the 14th. That one is a very interesting one for me. Alabama, Arkansas is that week. Tennessee, Texas A&M is that week. Those two definitely jump off the page. LSU, Auburn does too, though, for a couple reasons. Number one, they would not have had LSU potentially by this time, and LSU could still be undefeated, looking to gain steam. LSU would have Auburn, then they'd play Army, and then they'd go in the bye. It's their last SEC game before Alabama. If they're still undefeated, that's enticing. The other thing is it's in Tiger Stadium. We talk about this every year when we have this conversation. CBS always wants one game in Tiger Stadium. It was always easy when they had the streak of LSU-Bama be the primetime. That was your easy one, but they at least want one game. This could be one of them. There is one that's more likely, and we'll get to it, but this could be a spot to look for, depending on how things go. Alabama, Arkansas, what the shine is on Tennessee, Texas A&M, or then you have LSU, Auburn sitting right there. So it's an interesting spot. It's the week that I look at that I say, man, they have their toughest choice probably is week 7, October the 14th. So again, I think you could be choosing between A&M, Tennessee, Bama, Arkansas, or LSU, Florida. That could be a CBS game in Tiger Stadium week 7. Week 8, obviously not. LSU's going to play LSU's going to play Army. I really don't care who CBS picks, even though it's going to be Alabama and Tennessee because it's the third Saturday in October. Week 9, LSU's on bye. Week 10, we already talked about LSU and Bama. This is the one where I think you absolutely get the CBS game in Tiger Stadium, and it's week 11. It's November 11th, and it's LSU, Florida. Auburn, Arkansas, that's not going to do it for you, right? Tennessee, Missouri, that's not going to do it for you. Alabama, Kentucky, probably not. Vanderbilt, South Carolina, no. Georgia, Ole Miss, maybe. But Florida, LSU really sticks out when you look at November 11th for a CBS spot. And potentially, they would not have had a game in Tiger Stadium yet. They could have had LSU, Ole Miss earlier if they spurned the Deep South's oldest rivalry. They could do LSU, Auburn in Tiger Stadium, maybe. But this one just makes a lot of sense. I think regardless of what happens the rest of the year, I think LSU, Florida is 2:30 CBS November 11th in Tiger Stadium. It's their easiest way to make sure they get their game in Death Valley is that week, because it really is the best matchup, and it's a rivalry on the schedule for that week. So that's something to absolutely keep in mind. Another game that they have announced that they have set in stone is the Black Friday matchup between Missouri and Arkansas at 4 p.m. We talked about that on the show not too long ago. So that's set in stone. Of course, the SEC championship is set in stone, and we know November 25th, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, is going to be the Iron Bowl. Like that's just one of them, right? Tennessee, Florida. That's one that's just kind of penciled in as SEC on CBS games. But the ones we know for sure: South Carolina, Georgia, week 3, Missouri at Arkansas on Black Friday. Other than that, everything else kind of up for grabs with the SEC on CBS. But I would expect LSU-Bama to be in prime time. It is the game that weekend, and I think the week after that as well. LSU absolutely finds their way back on the CBS 2:30 in Tiger Stadium when they host the Florida Gators. We'll see. It'll be fun to follow all year round, right? CBS are going to sit there and do their we'll reserve a right to choose or whatever, put it off for a week. That whole thing that they do every year, and then LSU and the SEC, they will move to ESPN. This is the last year of SEC on CBS. So savor it, I guess. I don't know. Enjoy it. Yeah, sure. And hopefully LSU plays on CBS as few amount of times as humanly possible.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.